He didn't mean to mark me. Not really. Not like that. It happened in one violent heartbeat. One mistake fueled by rage, pride, and the pressure of a watching pack. Alpha Draven had just returned from battle, blood-soaked and furious. His leadership had been questioned, his authority challenged, and I, a quiet, low-ranking Omega, just happened to be too close when everything snapped. His eyes were glowing, half-shifted, wild with adrenaline. He grabbed me, snarled my name, and before anyone could stop him, his fangs sank into my neck, not with love, not with devotion, but with anger. Gasps echoed through the pack. They watched their mighty Alpha mark a girl he didn't even want, a girl beneath him, a mistake, a humiliation. He shoved me away immediately. "This means nothing," he growled, wiping my blood from his lips. "I don't need a mate, especially not her." The crowd believed him. Everyone did, except the moon goddess. Because the moment he marked me, something ancient awakened, something furious, and something he couldn't control. The bond that should have ruined me, instead began destroying him. Night after night, he grew weaker, his strength fading, his mind fracturing, his wolf howling for someone he swore he didn't need. He tried to resist, tried to deny the pull, tried to pretend the mark meant nothing, but every time he pushed me away, the bond punished him, ripping his sanity apart piece by piece. His warriors whispered, "The Alpha is losing control. His wolf is going feral. He won't survive without his mate." And suddenly, the entire pack realized the truth. He can't live without the girl he marked in anger, the Omega he rejected, the one he claimed he didn't want. And me? I didn't ask for this bond. I didn't ask to save him. But now, the Alpha who shattered my life is begging for the one thing he swore he'd never need: me. Alpha Draven Blackthorn ruled his pack the way a storm ruled the sky, violently, without mercy, and with no room for weakness. He became Alpha at 22 after defeating his own father in a challenge fight. Since then, his name carried fear the way others carried honor. He didn't believe in fate, he didn't believe in love, and he definitely didn't believe in mates. "A mate is a distraction," he always said. "Power is the only bond I need." His pack obeyed him because they feared him. They respected him because no one, not a single Alpha, could stand against him in battle. But Draven had one flaw, a fatal flaw: his temper. When anger hit him, the wolf inside him broke free like an untamed wildfire. Elders whispered that Draven's wolf was cursed, too wild, too dominant, too unstable. But no one dared say it to his face, because when Draven lost control, walls cracked, trees splintered, pack warriors trembled, and even his beta kept a safe distance. On the night of the Blood Moon Gathering, a sacred ceremony where packs unite, Draven arrived furious. Why? Because another Alpha had tried to challenge his borders earlier that morning. Draven destroyed him, but the rage didn't die with the fight. It burned hotter. So when he walked into the ceremony hall, everyone could smell the storm inside him. His wolf paced beneath his skin, teeth bared, growling for dominance. And then, an Omega accidentally bumped into him. A small girl, soft, fragile-looking, head down, carrying a tray of ceremonial offerings. She whispered, "Sorry, Alpha." And that was the spark. Draven growled, loud enough to silence the entire gathering, and his wolf surged to the surface with deadly speed. Before anyone could react, before Draven could stop himself, his wolf lunged, pinned her against the nearest pillar, and marked her. His teeth sank into the soft skin of her neck. The sacred claiming mark. Gasps filled the hall. Elders stood in shock. His beta froze, and Draven, the Alpha who didn't believe in mates, stepped back in horror as the bond snapped into place. A bond he never wanted. A bond he never accepted. A bond he never believed in. He marked her, in anger, in public, in front of the entire pack, and he didn't even know her name. His wolf purred with satisfaction. But Draven? He panicked. No, "No, this can't be," he hissed as he wiped her blood from his lips. He didn't look at her. He didn't speak to her. He turned away with a cold, vicious growl. "She means nothing." And he left her there, bleeding, terrified, shaking, in front of everyone. He expected her to crumble. He expected her to disappear. He expected the unwanted bond to fade away. But instead, the bond he never wanted became the bond that would slowly destroy him. Lira never wanted attention. She spent most of her days inside the healing house, a small, warm space filled with herbs, soft humming, and patients who came to her because she was gentle, and because she listened. She wasn't powerful. She wasn't loud. She didn't stand out. To most wolves in the Blood Moon pack, she was simply Lira, the quiet Omega who patched up wounds and moved through the halls like a whisper. But she had something no one else knew, something she hid her entire life. A rare emotional resonance, a trait so old that most packs believed it was legend. An Omega whose emotions can influence an Alpha's mind. An Omega whose presence can calm a raging wolf, or break him completely. The few who knew about such Omegas called them heart weavers, because their emotions could intertwine with an Alpha's heart and alter it forever. Lira didn't know she was one. Her parents died before they could tell her. The only sign was a strange feeling she carried since childhood. She felt emotions too deeply. She felt pain that wasn't hers. She felt fear before it entered the room. And when an Alpha walked past her, her heart didn't race. It ached. But she hid it. She had to. Because Omegas like her were either protected or used. And Alpha Draven? He didn't protect anyone. He ruled with dominance, brutal strength, and absolute control. He never acknowledged Omegas, never looked their way unless giving orders, and never, ever allowed anyone close to him. Which is why Lira never feared him noticing her. Why would he? She was invisible in a world where only power mattered. Until the night that changed everything. Until the moment he saw her, truly saw her, in the middle of his rage. Until the second his wolf lunged and marked the one girl he was never meant to touch. Because the moment her scent hit him, the moment her fear pulsed through the air, the moment her emotional resonance collided with his unstable wolf, Draven lost control, and instinct took over. His wolf didn't pause to choose. His wolf didn't think. His wolf didn't care. He marked her. Blood, bond, moonlight, a whole pack watching in horror. Lira's knees buckled, her breath shattered in her chest, her entire body trembled with a bond she never asked for. And Draven, the Alpha who didn't believe in mates, stared at her with a mixture of shock, fury, and something dangerously close to fear. Because his wolf had chosen an Omega, not just any Omega, a heart weaver, a girl who could either steady him or destroy him. And from that moment on, Lira was no longer invisible. She was the one girl the Alpha should never have touched, and the only one who could kill him or save him. Alpha Draven stood before his warriors, every muscle drawn tight, silver eyes glowing with a dangerous fury. It started as a dispute about stolen territory. But Draven's temper never stopped at simple arguments. His voice shook the clearing, vibrating through the bones of everyone kneeling before him. Even the elders didn't dare breathe too loudly, because when Draven's anger rose, his wolf rose with it, and once his wolf surfaced, no one was safe. Lira watched from the edge of the crowd, clutching a basket of herbs. She wasn't supposed to be here. Healers didn't attend conflict meetings. Omegas were meant to stay hidden behind the huts, unnoticed and silent. But she'd been delivering medicine to a sick child when she heard shouting. By the time she stepped into the clearing, she walked straight into chaos. A young child, barely 10, had wandered too close to the argument. Draven's rage exploded the moment he sensed movement. His wolf lunged. Lira didn't think, didn't hesitate, didn't remember she was an Omega. She only saw a child about to be torn apart, and her legs moved before her mind did. She shoved the child out of the Alpha's path, and Draven's wolf hit her instead. The crowd screamed. Draven's eyes snapped fully golden, his wolf taking over in a violent surge. He pinned Lira to the ground, breath hot against her neck, fangs bared, instincts in full deadly command. "No, Alpha, stop!" His beta shouted, but no one dared step closer. Draven didn't hear them, or maybe he did, but his wolf only heard a threat that needed to be claimed, punished, controlled. Lira gasped, her hands trembling beneath him, and then he bit her. Hard, deep, feral. Not a claiming bite, not a tender mating mark. A violent, instinct-driven bite meant to silence and subdue. The entire pack froze. A shocked gasp rippled through the clearing. A few wolves dropped to their knees in disbelief. Lyra's scream was soft, more of a strangled breath, as white-hot pain seared through her shoulder and down her spine. The mark burned instantly, spreading through her skin like liquid fire. She collapsed against the ground, eyes wide, breath shaking. Draven's wolf froze mid-snarl. His fangs withdrew. His ears twitched. His eyes, glowing gold, flicked down to the bleeding wound he had just carved into her flesh. A mark. A mating mark. Not possible. Not her. Draven staggered back like he'd been stabbed. His wolf whimpered. An unheard sound, a broken sound. A sound the pack had never heard from their alpha. He whispered, voice raw, stunned, terrified. No, not her. But it was too late. The bond snapped into place like a thunderclap through the forest. Violent, ancient, irreversible. Lyra's body flickered with the faint glow of a newly marked omega. She looked up at him, trembling, barely conscious. And Draven felt it. For the first time in his life, he felt something stronger than anger. A pull, a tether, a connection his wolf refused to release. The pack fell silent. The alpha had marked an omega, not out of love, but out of rage. And destiny didn't care about his intentions. The mark had chosen. And now, Draven's fate was tied to the one girl he was never supposed to touch. The moment Draven's teeth leave Lyra's skin, the world changes. Not for her. For him. At first, he thinks it's rage. His chest tightens, his breathing cracks, his vision blurs. The alpha who never bowed to anyone suddenly can't stand straight. His beta rushes forward. Alpha. Alpha. What's wrong? Draven tries to snarl an answer. But the sound that comes out is not a snarl. It's a whimper. His wolf, one of the strongest the region has ever seen. Shudders like a dying animal. Lira, unconscious on the ground, doesn't see any of it. But the pack does. They have never seen an alpha weakened by a bond. Ever. Draven staggers back, gripping his chest as if something is ripping out of him. His wolf claws at the inside of his mind, howling Lyra's name. Not in anger, in need. A need so deep and primal it terrifies him. Get her up, he commands through clenched teeth. His voice cracks. The pack stares. Draven's voice has never cracked. When they don't move fast enough, he roars, "Now!" His body trembles. He's losing control. The great Alpha Draven, the one who prides himself on perfect discipline, is shaking like a broken animal. The moment they lift Lyra's unconscious body to carry her to the healing house, Draven drops to his knees. Warriors gasp. Some step back. Lira has been moved less than 10 feet away. And yet Draven feels like someone is tearing his soul out. The farther she gets, the worse it becomes. His wolf claws, screams, bites, thrashes inside him. A warrior whispers, horrified, "Alpha, the bond is killing you." When Lira finally wakes hours later, she doesn't scream. She cries quietly. She is scared, confused, overwhelmed, and the moment her tears fall, Draven doubles over in agony. He slams his fist into the wall so hard it cracks, trying to drown the pain, trying to fight a bond that has suddenly become stronger than him. His beta watches in disbelief. "She's crying," he mutters. "That's why you're—" "Shut up," Draven growls, chest heaving. But it's true. Every emotion she feels, he suffers. When Lira refuses to see him, refuses to speak to him, refuses to even acknowledge him. Draven loses his mind. His wolf rips forward with violent desperation. He storms the healing house doors. The healers block him. Alpha, she needs rest. I need her, he snarls, voice cracking again. Get out of my way. His beta pulls him aside. Alpha, you're not thinking straight. I can't think without her, Draven snaps, eyes glowing uncontrollably. The entire pack watches in terror. The Alpha, who once ruled through cold strength, now shakes, sweats, and nearly collapses. From the absence of one Omega, it hits him like a blade to the throat. He marked someone whose spirit is stronger than his wolf, stronger than his rage, stronger than him. Her unwillingness, her fear, her rejection, is killing him slowly. He clutches his chest, breath ragged, voice hoarse. She never wanted me. A brutal truth, a truth that makes the bond twist like poison in his veins. His beta meets his eyes in fear. Alpha, your bond is dying. Draven whispers, devastated. No, I am. Lira wakes in the healing house 3 days after the accidental marking. But she is not the same girl who collapsed. The first thing she feels is heat pulsing under her skin. Not fever, but power. Something new. Something ancient. Something every healer in the room senses and steps back from. The moment she opens her eyes, the candles flicker. The air tightens. The room hums. It's as if the bond itself is adjusting the world around her. Her aura. It's awakened, one healer whispers. No Omega should radiate this much energy. But Lira does, and it terrifies them. New abilities she never asked for. 1. Healing aura. Her hands glow with soft gold when she touches anyone. Wounds knit, bruises fade, pain dissolves. But she's afraid to touch anyone, because every time she uses her gift, she can feel Draven's heartbeat pounding inside her head, demanding her attention. 2. Emotional influence. She doesn't speak loudly, she doesn't order. But when she whispers, calm, every wolf within 10 meters breathes differently. When she whispers, stop, even ranked warriors freeze mid-movement. No Omega should have this power over a pack. And yet, she does. 3. Instinctive bond abilities. Lira suddenly knows things she shouldn't. She can sense Draven's location. She can hear echoes of his emotions. She feels his rage like a storm. She feels his weakness like a bruise inside her chest. She clutches the sheets, gasping as a surge of panic hits her. It's his panic. His wolf is spiraling. Because she is awake, and far away from him. 4. Power to calm or break an alpha. This power is the most dangerous of all, because her emotional resonance, the rare trait she never knew she had, can soothe an alpha's wolf or shatter it completely. During marking, Draven's spirit latched onto hers so violently that her gift ignited like wildfire. She never wanted this bond. But now, she holds his life in her hands. When she tries to stand, the ground hums. Wolves outside look toward the healing house, sensing the shift in energy. Some bow instinctively, others run away. A few whisper, "Is she the Alpha's true mate? She's just an Omega, this shouldn't be possible." What did Draven do? Lira hates the attention. She pulls her cloak over her head and tries to slip out the back door. But the moment her foot crosses the threshold, Draven's wolf roars in the distance, a sound that shakes the pack grounds. Everyone freezes, because they've never heard their alpha sound like that. Not enraged, not dominant, not even furious. This sound is desperation. He crashes into the clearing in his wolf form, massive, black, silver-eyed, unsteady. When he sees her, he staggers forward as if gravity has increased tenfold. His wolf lowers itself, trembling, not in fear, but in relief. Lira steps back, heart racing. "I don't want this," she whispers, and the moment those words leave her lips, Draven collapses, as if rejection physically crushed him. He claws at the dirt, struggling to breathe, choking on the bond pulling him toward her. The healers scream for Lira to stay, but she is torn between fear and instinct, because even though she hates this bond, even though he hurt her, even though he marked her in anger, her new power is screaming at her to go to him, to touch him, to save him. And with one hesitant step toward the broken Alpha, the bond flares like lightning. Her aura glows. His wolf lifts its head, and for the first time since the accidental marking, Lira realizes she has become the only thing keeping him alive. But fate wasn't finished with them. While Draven battled the bond tearing him apart, and Lira struggled with powers she never asked for, someone else was watching. Someone who had waited for this moment. The first sign came at midnight, a shadow slipping past the border patrol, a scent no wolf should carry, blood, ash, and ancient magic. Beta Rowan found the warning first. 3 pack guards collapsed near the riverbank, their eyes glazed with a darkness Lira could sense, even from the infirmary. Draven felt her fear spike, and the bond nearly sent him to his knees. He stormed into the healing house, chest heaving, silver eyes flashing with feral panic. "Who touched you?" he growled. But Lira wasn't looking at him. She was staring at the symbol carved into the guard's skin, a spiral of 3 claws, a mark she had seen only once before. The mark of Ravik, the rogue Alpha who had been exiled years ago. The same Alpha who hunted rare Omegas for their bond-bending power, and now he had found her. Draven's wolf reacted instantly. A snarl ripped from his throat, the kind that sent every healer scrambling back. But this wasn't just rage. This was fear. A fear so sharp Lira felt it choke through the bond. Because Ravik didn't just want an Omega. He wanted her. He wanted the girl who could bend emotions, shatter loyalty, and control armies with a whisper. The Omega whose resonance was so rare. Draven marking her had triggered a violent surge. Ravik wanted her for himself, or to destroy her so no Alpha could ever hold that power. And he knew exactly how to get to her. Kill Draven. The attacks began silently. A poisoned arrow sent through the Alpha's window, a shadow stalking the training grounds, wolves disappearing during patrol. Draven grew more unstable each day, his wolf clawing beneath his skin, demanding that he keep Lira close, closer than breath. But the closer he stayed, the more the pack whispered, the more fractures appeared. Some wolves blamed Lira, said she cursed him, weakened him, turned their unstoppable Alpha into a slave to a bond he never wanted. Rumors spread like wildfire. The Omega will ruin us. She controls his emotions. She's dangerous. She must be removed. And Ravik fed every rumor, every fear, every crack in the pack's loyalty. One night, when the whispers reached their peak, the rogue Alpha himself appeared at the border, smiling, relaxed, unafraid. "Your Alpha is dying," he called, his voice echoing across the forest. "Give me the girl, and I'll let the rest of you live." Draven roared, but his wolf stuttered from the bond backlash, a moment of weakness that Ravik saw and savored. Lira stepped forward, weak legs, trembling hands, but a fire in her chest she didn't recognize. The bond thrummed, alive, fierce, because for the first time, she wasn't just surviving Draven's mistake, she was protecting him. And the villain realized something terrifying. Lira was no longer the quiet Omega he expected. She was the key to Draven's strength, and the weapon who could end him, which meant he would stop at nothing to tear her away. The war for her had officially begun. The moment Lira was taken, something inside Draven snapped. At first, the pack thought it was just another one of his storms. Another one of those violent, uncontrollable rages that made even the elders run for shelter. But this time, it was different. This time, the Alpha didn't roar. He screamed. A raw, broken sound that shook the trees. A sound no one had ever heard from Draven. Not even when he lost warriors in battle. Not even when he was betrayed by blood. This scream was the scream of a mate whose soul was being ripped apart. "Where is she?" Draven's voice thundered across the territory, his wolf pushing forward until his eyes glowed silver white, brighter than the moon itself. His beta tried to calm him. He couldn't. No one could, because the bond, the one he marked in anger, the one he never wanted, was tearing him open from the inside. Every second Lira was away, he felt like he was drowning. Every second she was out of his reach, his chest burned like molten iron. And every time fear touched her heart, he felt it like a blade carving through his ribs. Draven didn't walk into the forest to find her. He charged, shifting mid-air, black fur exploding from his skin as his wolf took full control. Trees snapped under his claws. The earth cracked beneath his paws. Birds scattered. Warriors trembled. The alpha everyone feared was gone. This wasn't power. This wasn't dominance. This was desperation. This was a mate fighting for his soul. Hours passed. The moon rose higher. Blood scented the air. Then, a whimper. Soft, painful, familiar. Draven skidded to a stop, heart slamming against his ribs. There, in a ruined clearing, Lira lay curled on the ground. Ropes burned into her wrists, blood drying on her cheek. For a moment, everything inside him went silent. Then his wolf howled, a sound of grief so deep it shattered the night. He rushed to her, shifting back into his human form even before reaching her side. Knees hit the ground, hands shook as he reached for her. "Lira, Lira, look at me, please." Her eyelids fluttered weakly. He cupped her face, thumbs brushing away dirt and blood, voice breaking in a way no one ever imagined Draven could break. "I'm begging you. Don't leave me." His forehead pressed against hers, breath trembling. "I know I ruined everything. I know I hurt you. I know I marked you when you never asked for it." His voice cracked. "But the moment you were taken, the moment the bond went silent, I thought I would die." Her fingers twitched, touching his wrist. Weak, shaking, but alive. He inhaled sharply, as if that tiny touch gave him life again. "Lira, I can't survive without you." His voice trembled, barely a whisper. "I didn't choose this bond, but I can't live without it now." His eyes glowed again, not with rage, but with fear. Real fear. Fear of losing her. No warrior, no elder, no alpha in the world could have believed this moment was real. The ruthless Alpha Draven bowed over an omega, heart shattered, begging for her life. And when he pulled her gently into his arms, holding her as if she were made of moonlight, the forest finally understood. The mark he gave in anger had become the bond that owned him, and he would burn the world to keep her alive. The forest was still burning when Lira opened her eyes. Smoke curled around the shattered clearing. Shards of moonlight cut through the broken trees. And in the center of it all, Draven was on his knees. His hands shook violently. His wolf eyes flickered between silver and black. Fighting madness, fighting death. Fighting the bond that was ripping him apart from the inside. "Lira." His voice was barely a sound, more like a prayer he was afraid to lose. "You're alive." She tried to sit up, but pain spread across her ribs. Wounds from the kidnapping. Wounds she had taken while protecting herself from the villain who wanted her power. Draven crawled to her, not with alpha pride, not with authority, but with desperation so raw it shattered her breath. His forehead pressed against her shoulder. His whole body trembled. "Lira, my omega, my mate." His voice cracked. "I can feel the bond failing. If it breaks now, I won't survive." And he was right. His pulse was slowing. His wolf was dissolving. The mark on his neck was burning through his skin, glowing a violent, painful red. The accidental mark he'd given her in rage was killing him. The air shifted, a surge of ancient magic rising from the earth beneath them. She felt something pulling at her soul. A whisper, a knowledge, a truth older than the pack itself. There were only two outcomes for an incomplete Alpha-Omega bond. 1. Sever the connection permanently. His wolf would shatter. His body would follow. He would die. 2. Finish the bond properly. Accept him fully. Mark him back. Anchor their spirits as equals. The first option meant freedom. No more pain, no more fear. No more Alpha who marked her without consent. The second option meant binding her life to his. Forever. Two souls. One fate. Hers could override his, but his could devour hers if he ever lost control again. Her hands shook. She looked at him. This powerful, terrifying Alpha, now collapsing into her lap like a wounded animal. Lira. His fingers curled weakly around hers. Choose anything. Anything but leaving me. A tear slid down her cheek. She remembered how he bit her, how he hurt her, how the pack stared in horror, how he denied the bond, until losing her broke him. But she also remembered something else. The way he searched the forest for her, ripping through rogues with his bare hands, bleeding, crawling, burning himself alive just to find her heartbeat. His fear wasn't of losing a mate. His fear was losing her. Lira placed her trembling hand on the side of his neck, right over the glowing red mark. Draven. Her voice was soft but steady. I'm choosing you. The forest held its breath. A beam of moonlight broke through the clouds and hit them both like a blessing. Lira leaned in, slow, gentle, deliberate, and sank her teeth into his skin. His entire body bowed, as if the heavens themselves had struck him. A burst of golden light exploded around them, racing through the forest, through the pack, through the bond that had been screaming in agony for days. Draven gasped, a painfully human sound, and collapsed into her arms. His wolf surged forward, howling through him, merging with hers in a blinding wave of power. Their hearts synced, their breath synced, their souls locked, not as Alpha and servant, not as anger and accident, but as true, chosen mates. The bond sealed with a thunderous pulse. Draven's eyes snapped open. Silver, stable, clear, alive, bound, hers. Lira. He whispered her name like a vow. You saved me. She held his face, feeling the warmth returning to him, feeling the connection settle deep in her bones. No, she murmured. We saved each other. The forest glowed gold one last time, and the world around them finally exhaled. When Draven finally opens his eyes, the world is quiet. No rage, no chaos, no darkness clawing through his chest. For the first time since he became Alpha, he feels peace, and the first thing he sees is her. Lira sits beside him, her hand hovering gently over his heartbeat, her eyes swollen from crying but glowing with relief. The bond between them hums like a warm current, steady and alive, not the jagged, painful burn it once was. Draven's breath catches. Lira. His voice cracks, softer than she has ever heard it. I'm still here. Because of you. She tries to speak, but he reaches for her hand. Slow, gentle, almost afraid she'll pull away. But she doesn't. The pack gathers around them at a distance, watching in stunned silence. Their ruthless Alpha, the one they feared, obeyed, and whispered about, now looks at a once-forgotten Omega as though she is the only thing in the universe. And maybe she is. Draven rises to his knees, still weak but determined. He bows his head to her, the Alpha bowing to an Omega, shocking every wolf in the clearing. You saved my life, he whispers. You saved my wolf, my kingdom, my soul. Lira's breath trembles. She never expected this, never wanted power, never sought his throne. But fate didn't choose her to be invisible. It chose her to stand at his side. The bond glows between them, soft gold and silver threads weaving over their skin, sealing them not in anger, but in truth. Draven takes her trembling hands in his. Lira, he says, voice steady now. From this moment, you are not just my mate, you are my Luna. He looks around at the pack, his command sharp and clear. And you will honor her. Every wolf lowers their head. To her, the Omega they once overlooked. The Luna who broke a curse with courage, not claws. Lira's eyes fill with tears, not of fear this time, but acceptance. Belonging. Power. Draven pulls her into his arms, resting his forehead against hers with a soft, reverent sigh. He marked me in anger, she whispers. He smiles, truly smiles, and cups her cheek. But fate, he murmurs, made me yours. The moon shines brighter, the forest quiets, and the pack howls in unison, not for war, but for their Alpha and Luna, reborn. Their story doesn't end here. It only begins. If you loved this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Check out the other videos on my channel. More dark romance stories are waiting for you.